Hi, everyone. It's Fionna Gossling with Roy LePage, and I've got your October real estate update for what's been happening in the Oakville market in October. So it's kind of the same story. I've been preaching all through 2021. Prices are up, inventory's low, and that's creating a tremendous amount of demand for properties in general. So if you're thinking about selling in the next 6 months, this is a really good time to start thinking about it, even if you're not ready to pull the trigger now. Basically, I thought it would be a little interesting to go back and look historically. So always the stats are on my website, but I thought it would be interesting to go back and look at some historic numbers versus current numbers to give you a better idea of just how much pressure there is on the market and the lack of inventory. So I'll hop right into it. Here we go. So there were 315 sales in October. There are 207 properties to choose from, so that is very, very low. Typically, those numbers would be more in the 600 range in 2020, 2019. And that has been the story, months of inventory, clear across 2021. You can see there's very little product out there to choose from. And this is why, if you're thinking about selling in the next 6 months, it's a really good time to start having the conversations now and making a strategy to how best achieve your real estate goals. And it doesn't mean selling 6 months early and being homeless or not knowing where to go. Months of inventory is a really good indicator of if it's a buyer or a seller's market. We have 0.8 months of inventory right now in Oakville, which means if nothing new came to the market, it would take 0.8 of a month to sell absolutely everything. So things are selling that are properly priced, and we're still seeing a lot of multiple offers happening and prices going for way over. Our average sale price is up to $1,513,000, and the median sale price, which is perhaps the more important metric, is $1,375,000, which is up quite a bit month over month. It's up $25,000 over September, and that trajectory has been steadily climbing. It's up $100,000 over June. So that is something to keep in mind there. This gives us a little snapshot as to what's been happening when we compare 2021 over 2020. Number of sales are down by 19%. That's just because we didn't have the product to choose from. There's certainly a lot of demand out there. And we're seeing that because we're seeing kind of 16 offers on certain properties in certain price points. Of course, that depends on the price point, but there's still a great demand for properties out there. Active listings are down 63%. So all those people that want to get into the market, there just isn't the product out there. Months of inventory is down 43%. Average sale price is up 15%. And days on market is way down. So it's taking less time to sell your home. You're getting 15% more money for your home, and buyers are just generally less picky or willing to put up with more to get the property that they want in the area that they want. Of course, it depends on if you're looking at detached townhouses or condos, but right across the board, it's a seller's market. Townhouses, there's very little inventory. There's 0.2 months of inventory there, and the average sale price has jumped to $1.2 million with only 8 days on the market. Condos, you have a little bit more breathing room with 1.1 months of inventory there, but it's still not very much to choose from. And detached homes, the average sale price has jumped to $2,031,000. with only 8 months of inventory. These I'm going to skip because I do want to look at the historic. If you want to look at this in more detail on my website, it's showing what happened in 2019, 2020, and 21 in average sale prices and median sale prices historically. And then you can always look at break it down by neighborhood with the number of transactions, how much activity is happening in your particular neighborhood, because real estate is so local. So I'm going to try to exit out of here if I can and pull up, no, that's not it, and pull up the market stats to show you. This is my website where I will say the market stats are. If you go market update, this is 2021. But if we look at 2020 as a comparison, so this is the same information just going in 2020. You can see at the beginning of 2020, we had kind of 500 properties to choose from, 509, 518, and 2020 started with a very strong market, and then COVID hit in March and properties were sitting. So we had kind of in the 5 to 600, 650 range in terms of inventory, and then things started to sell and inventory really dropped off. If you look at 2019, you can see in terms of units available, we're in the 722, 845, 940 properties to choose from. And we're still seeing the same number of sales. So in 2019, in that 300 properties a month kind of selling, hovering around there, which is, we're still there. In 2021, we're still selling around 300 properties a month, but we just don't have the inventory to choose from. So that was kind of interesting and insightful in terms of what's going on. If you had specific questions or you were thinking about doing something in the next 6 months, a year, and you wanted to make a strategy that made sense for you so that you can accomplish your real estate goals, reach out, let me know how I can help, and we can sit down and have a conversation about how to best achieve those goals. Talk to you next month.